back to my channel. This is Sri Radha Debroy, your sociology educator. So in this video, we will be covering part 4 of our MCQ series, and if you haven't watched the previous parts already, please make sure that you watch it. The link will be provided in the description box below. Now these are my basic academic details, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you are notified every time I upload a new video. Starting with our first question, what does the term sexism refer to? Belief that men are inherently superior to women, the state of sexual promiscuity. Sexual promiscuity means having multiple sexual partners. The tendency to treat women as sexual objects only, and the process of liberating women from traditional bondage. Okay, so the answer to this question is belief that men are inherently superior to women. Now what happens is that you will find this type of a belief in more or less every society. Now this gives rise to what is called prejudice. So there are certain types of prejudice and discrimination which are meted out against women. Say for example, in many societies there is an attitude which says that women should stay inside the home and women are meant for the kitchen, and they should not go out of their homes to the job spheres. So basically the jobs are meant for the men and women should strictly stay inside the home. So this type of an attitude is what is referred to as sexism. Caste status is determined by mobility, education, socialization and birth. This is a very easy question and I hope everyone will be able to answer this question. Alright, so the answer to this question is birth. So caste status is determined by birth. So we all know that caste is basically an ascribed status, that is, it is ascribed by virtue of birth. So when one is born, the caste status is already ascribed on him or determined by the virtue of his birth. Okay, so we move on to our next question. So this question is also very easy. Who among the following is associated with authority? Hobbes, Rousseau, Weber and Locke. So the answer to this question is Weber. So Weber gives his conceptualization of authority. The fourth question we have is demographers do not take into account age, sex and weight of the population, height and weight of the population, birth and death rate, density of population. So this is also a very commonsensical question. So I hope you have guessed the answer by now. So it is height and weight of the population. A group of persons within a given population experiencing the same event during a given year or interval of time is called a peer group, cohort or a resemble group. So the answer to this question is cohort. So cohort is basically a group of persons within a given population experiencing the same event during a given year or interval. So basically what happens is people who experience the same event at the same time is grouped as a cohort. Say for example, in social science research, students who graduate in the same year would be an example of a cohort. The concept of the generalized other was introduced by G.H. Mead, Herbert Blumer, Wilfredo Pareto and none of the above. So the answer to this question is G.H. Mead. Mead gave the concept of generalized other. Now to understand the concept of generalized other, you need to know the theory of self formation or the formation of self concept by Mead. And Mead says that the formation of self happens by taking the role of others. Taking the role of others. Now what is taking the role of others? So basically he says that when we interact with other people, we try to take the role of others. So we basically try to place ourselves in others' position and thereby understand what that person thinks of ourselves. So we basically try to understand the gestures and postures of other people and thereby we try to understand what that person thinks of ourselves. Now this taking the role of others happens in various stages. So the first stage Mead calls the play stage. In the play stage, the child, the infant, tries to take up the role of a few others. Say, for example, the mother, the father, or the caregiver, the few people with which it interacts. So this happens at the very initial stage. In the next stage, the game stage, when the child gradually grows up a bit, it tries to take the role of a few more others. Say, for example, 11 to 12 people with which it interacts. And finally, when the child grows up, it tries to take the role of the generalized other. Now, what is the generalized other? Generalized other is basically the variety of people in the society with which the person interacts. So, the generalized other is basically the community of attitudes in society. So, by taking the role of the generalized other or the various people in society with which the person interacts, the person basically develops the conception of the self. Our next question is, according to Durkheim, religion consists in the distinction between A. the sacred and the secular, B. the pure and the impure, C. the sacred and the profane, and D. the gods and the ghosts. I hope all of you will be able to answer this. So, Durkheim says that religion consists in the distinction between the sacred and the profane. So, the correct answer is option C. The theory that holds reason as the source of knowledge is idealism, rationalism, empiricism, and none of these. So, if you know the meaning of the words, you will easily be able to find out the answer to this question. So, the answer to this question is rationalism. So, rationality means reason. So, by this virtue, the theory of reason would be rationalism. The functional theory of social stratification is expounded in the writing of Davis and Blake, Davis and Moore, Parsons and Bales, Marx and Weber. So the answer to this question is Davis and Moore. Option B, Davis and Moore. So they say that social stratification is functional in nature. So while all other theorists of social stratification say that social stratification basically gives rise to inequalities, Davis and Moore say that social stratification is functional in nature. Finally, our last question for this session is, the culture which consists of ideas is material culture, non-material culture, cultural object, and none of these. So the answer to this question will be non-material culture. So you basically know that ideas are non-material in nature, so you cannot see them or touch them. So it is non-material culture. I hope you liked this video, and if you have any other queries or video requests, you can comment down below. I'll surely make videos on them as well. And if this video was helpful, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, keep shining.